Okay, so welcome everybody. I would just like to go through the agenda before we kick off. So first of all, we'll walk through a bit of an introduction to both myself and Tanya as presenters on this webinar, and then I'll talk you through some of the concepts behind the 3D Experience Mine and the Dassault System vision for autonomous mining. And then I'll hand across to Tanya to talk through the 3D Experience platform and some of the technologies behind it, including a demonstration of some of the functionality. And towards the end, we'll take a few questions and answer those. Okay, so just by way of introduction, my name is Andy, and I lead the portfolio management team at GEOVIA. I'm ultimately responsible for the product portfolio that GEOVIA takes to market in mining. The GEOVIA brand is one of 11 that make up Dassault System, and many of these brands are also bringing technology to the 3D Experience Mine. My background is a mechanical engineer, and I have a long history in product management for enterprise software, and I'm based here in Brisbane in Australia. Tanya, over to you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tanya, and I'm a technical innovation specialist based out of our Toronto office for the last 9 years. I'm a senior geologist with over 14 years experience in all geological aspects of the mining chain from grassroots to production. Within the company, I've worked as a business analyst, technical sales specialist, in which I've delivered training, project assistance, support, implementations, and demonstrations. So currently, I'm working on integrating various Dassault brands into the mining sector to harness the power of our portfolio technologies.
Okay, thanks, Tanya. All right, I think we can get started. So firstly, I'd like to start with an introduction to the 3D Experience Mine and give you a sense of the vision and the concepts that we're working towards. The 3D Experience Mine is in essence a framework for digital transformation of the end-to-end mine value chain. It's more than just a platform with technology, and as you can see here in the 3D Experience Mine has 4 key pillars to it. Firstly, it's the all-encompassing solution that we bring to market for any mining company, whether you're a small quarry or a large multinational mining company. The solutions that we can bring can be as simple as connecting your desktop mining applications to 3D Experience to share and collaborate across the business, or it could be as comprehensive as a platform to support autonomous mining. Secondly, the 3D Experience Mine is also, we see it as a philosophy to underpin digital transformation. So the 3-tier pyramid that you see here sums this up. First, we believe you cannot improve what you cannot measure. So achieving a stability by measuring production performance is that first step that we strive towards. And once you have this, you can then introduce innovation and continuous improvement, reinforcing these changes to become standard practice and achieve what we see as excellence. And then once you've achieved this, you'll be able to reach the agility stage where you can react very quickly to changing conditions. For example, changes in the market, changes in equipment availability, changes in the weather, and even a redirect or changes in business strategy. And thirdly, of course, is the technology. Some of these technologies that you see here we have available now, and some we're working on as we speak. So, for example, the 3D Experience platform, which you'll get to see very shortly in Tanya's demonstration, is available both on cloud and on premise. We have a desktop portfolio of mining applications that many of you as GEOVIA customers now use, and we also have a new suite of applications on the 3D Experience platform. There's other technologies in here that we're currently working on to bring to market in new transformational ways. And then lastly, it's also about the end user experience. So rather than provide you software and let you work it out on your own, we have what we call industry process experiences that tie our mining applications together in best practice workflows to maximize the value that you can achieve. And then underpinning all of these 4 pillars, we have the digital twin or digital 3D experience twin that we create from the mine planning and the mine production data that comes as part of normal operations. And this brings me to the next slide. So here I just wanted to take a minute to talk about the 3D experience mine architecture. So at the center of the 3D experience mine, we have this unification of mining information, and there's two key sources that we get this mining information. One is mine planning data from what we call the mining Internet of Systems, and this is the traditional landscape of applications that you may use now. So the GEOVIA desktop applications like Surpac and Mineshed and Whittle and our others, as well as other software vendor applications that you may use as well. And to unify this information into the 3D Experience Twin, we have an open interoperability interface. We strongly support the open mining format guidelines set down by the Global Mining Group. This is an evolving standard and guideline that's becoming the standard for interoperability in the mining software industry. And then together with the mine planning data, we also have mine production data coming from the instrumented machines. So as new equipment is being instrumented existing equipment is being instrumented, or new machines become available that have the ability to collect real-time sensor data, that information can also be brought into the 3D Experience Twin and unified together with that mine planning data. Now, once we have this unification of mining information on or inside the 3D Experience mine, it opens up a lot more opportunities for us. So across the top, you'll see several parts of the mine value chain, and we are currently working on a next generation of connected real-time mining applications, starting with geology in the geoscience space. This is what we're working on now, and progressively we'll work through other parts of the mine value chain in design and engineering and scheduling, all the way down to production and transport logistics. So the overall vision that we have, as you see here, is to support or to have an experience twin to support autonomous mining. So the vision that we've got is a set of real-time connected applications that allow you to be data-driven. So as new data is coming from the machines and the sensors, these connected applications running on 3D Experience can make autonomous decisions or provide decision support to experts who are operating the mine. So hopefully this gives you a bit of a snapshot on some of the concepts behind 3D Experience Mine, and paints a picture on the vision of towards where we're heading. So I'll hand over to Tanya now, and Tanya will talk us through a bit about the 3D Experience platform and also a demonstration on some of the capabilities. Over to you, Tanya.
Andy. Okay, so we'll start with what is the 3D Experience platform, but we'll take a step back and talk about what is a platform. The heart of any platform is collaboration. It's the essence of bringing together different people and groups in order to create something bigger than its parts. It breaks silos to solve some of the biggest problems we have surrounding our valuable assets, our people and our data, the stakeholders without which we cannot function as a business. So understanding this relationship and the need for this offering in the industry, I'd like to introduce to you the 3D Experience platform. Now, looking at the slide here, the 3D Experience platform is defined by the compass that you see. The 4 quadrants of the compass represent the full range of capabilities of the 3D Experience platform. Each quadrant houses the brand applications, some of which will be discussed today, but will be mainly focused in the northern quadrant, the social and collaborative applications. So at Dassault, much of the work we're doing in the mining industry is now based on the 3D Experience platform. It's really a unified collaborative ecosystem that can be used in cloud environments managed by our team or on-premise at your site. Now, shortly you'll see a demonstration in which users will work with the platform to create and work with their 3D models, as well as have a central repository for their data to work with it in a secure, version control, and audited environment. In essence, the 3D Experience platform unites employees, suppliers, customers digitally into a framework for sustainable innovation. So the path to the 3D experience for GEOVIA, I like to summarize it with this blueprint slide. With a centralized GMP or geology and mine planning solution, such as SURPAC, users can connect to the 3D experience from their GEOVIA desktop applications to secure and share data. Now, if I were to expand on that GMP core, users then can connect data and processes with stakeholders within the entire enterprise, really allowing for digital continuity. Then further overlap into business experience platform, in which it really becomes a seamless component of the experience, allowing users to harness the full power of the Dassault portfolio. So let's see how this platform is relevant to you in your operations. What is your state of mind? Here we have multiple stakeholders such as a geologist, an engineer, mine superintendent, and surveyor, who have a list of pain points that may be similar or overlapping between departments, and some examples are included on this slide. So talking about collaboration, ineffective communication really makes it difficult to collaborate with your colleagues, especially with those in other departments or sites where silos usually do exist. So some examples to drill down on some of these pain points would include perhaps no central repository to house documents and work, leading to issues with version control, particularly during end of month and shift changeovers. What about lack of full and transparent communication between departments, which is associated with approval routing, which becomes unclear? Another example could be ideal standard operating procedures that aren't defined. Or what about difficulty getting a complete view on the status of team projects, having visibility into those projects? Another example could include many data languages within departments that need to be streamlined. And this includes programs being used and integration between those programs. So with the 3D Experience platform, we can help to bridge the gap on some of these issues. So let's take a look at some of these in an example. So on this slide here, we have those obstacles that were outlined on the previous slide can be solved using our SURPAC Power BI capabilities in this workflow example. So let's first take a look at this generic resource model update. I have a standard workflow that I've applied using our current GMP SURPAC product along with the Power BI capabilities. Well, let's talk about Power BI. GEOVIA Power BI allows SURPAC users to access and leverage the full collaborative capabilities of the platform. So what does that include? It includes sharing data, collaborative data lifecycle management, mining workflow collaboration and approvals, playing 3D content, and really the ability to create platform-based dashboards to consolidate tasks and data in real time. This allows you, the user, to have an integrated solution to a platform-based model sustainable for innovation. So let's take a look at this workflow in a little bit more detail before we go into a live demonstration. Let's start at point 0 here, meaning 0 distance to people, processes, and data, because you'll be able to access your data from a central repository, which allows for version and control and checking in and out of your data. This can be accessed from SURPAC using the Power BI capabilities to the 3D Experience platform secure file storage. Now, as I go through this workflow and update my domain solids, validate my domains, there's usually a collaboration time cost associated with these tasks. So keeping that in mind, that you have to work with several versions, understand what parameters were utilized and why, who's approved what data and what version, we can reduce that collaboration time cost by accessing our data from a central repository and having better traceability, auditability. And we're going to take a look at that in the live demo. So let's continue through this workflow and run the geostatistics in step 3, the interpolation, and estimate your model, which then can be stored on the integrated secure file storage on the 3D Experience platform, allowing all relevant stakeholders to access, comment, annotate, and review the data in real time in step 4. And again, as we progress, there's another collaboration time cost associated with the next series of steps. But using SURPAC Power BI, we're able to bridge the gap on some of those time costs, reduce those time costs. And using step 6 here, enabling digital transformation across the entire value chain by publishing your data to relevant stakeholders within the 3D Experience platform. So the ultimate goal with the SURPAC Power BI is really allowing traceability and version control, raising quality, and ensuring company compliance. Additionally, centralized secure data that propagates confidence through visibility, while in parallel facilitating transparency and two-way communication between departments and sites. So today I'm going to go through a demonstration. I'm going to go through a workflow in which I'm going to depict a geologist within an operational mine site, updating a geological model to showcase to you collaboration on a social and enterprise level, using GEOVIA products along with the 3D Experience platform. The aim is to really address companies seeking to extract data from their operations and processes to optimize on performance. In parallel, pursuing collaboration for all stakeholders to produce baseline goals, key performance indicators, and best practices to really drive excellence throughout their business. So I'm going to do this demonstration within SURPAC. And to start, as I'm running through this example, I've received an email notification. That email notification has assigned a task to me. The task is for me to update the geological model. This email was auto-generated by the platform itself based on a workflow that's been set up, and we'll visit that shortly. But for now, I've received an email as a geologist, and I'm going to go ahead and perform the task that's been assigned to me ahead of the due date schedule. So within SURPAC, I have a very simple geological model. And let's imagine the data used to construct this model has been updated. So that's to say a number of drill holes have been completed, assay results are in, and subsequently the boundaries of this domain have changed. So thus the model must be adjusted accordingly. So I'm going to run a quick script in order to illustrate this. And my end result will be on plan section just to illustrate my original domain here in orange against my expanded model on this particular section in blue. I'm going to remove the original model. And I'm going to go ahead and just shut off the sections so I can see now my updated model. Okay, there's been a couple of updates on 2 sections based on the drill hole information I've received. If nothing else, you've noticed that the domain color has changed. Now, assuming that this model is now valid and approved, I'm ready to now publish it and share it with other stakeholders. So rather than send out an email or pass along a USB with data stored in, or perhaps I have data stored on a specific portion of the server that may not be clear to other users, with the Power BI capabilities, the user has the control to save the updated model into a secure file storage. So if I just navigate to this compass, I'll be able to access all of the data within the secure file storage. I can see that here's my previous model that I'm going to go ahead and upload a newer version to. So now that I've uploaded my newer version to my secure file storage, let's see where that data's gone. I'm going to go back into the platform where we started off our presentation, and I'm going to navigate to my secure file storage. So once within my secure file storage here, I can see that I'm within a parent folder, and I can see all of the subsequent constituents within that folder. Here's the most recent file that I've updated here. But as a user, as a geologist, I have the ability to come in and perhaps change the layout of how I'm working with my data, use predefined filters in ascending or descending order, or simply view the information associated with the content in this folder. I can see the properties of the folder itself. More importantly, I can see the members. So what that'll allow me to do is see who has access to this data and what permission settings that they have. Those permission settings are given at my own discretion. I can add groups of people as well as opposed to single people, and as I can view the live analytics that are dynamic based on the content within each folder within my secure file storage. Now, as a geologist, I can see the most recent file has shown up here in my secure file storage, but I do have the ability to use the searching functions up here. What that'll allow me to do is use a semantic search. So if I look for a keyword, perhaps it's geology or engineering, it'll not only bring up every piece of relevant information within the file names itself, but also in the content of the data. In addition to that, we have something called tagging. Tagging allows you the ability to apply a unique identifier to single files or groups of files so that you can use it for intellectual property to catalog your data at a future time. Now, we started off our workflow in SERPAC. I updated my model. I used the secure file storage to upload my data using SERPAC Power BI capabilities. Once I've done that, I'm able to navigate to the platform and find my file. Now, perhaps I'd like to view that file. So I can use our visualization tools to review my data in real time. And I have the ability to use this visualizer for very simple things like rotating my data, zooming in, zooming out, zoom to fit. But I also have a series of tools that are available to me. And these tools allow me to perhaps come in and turn off certain components, perhaps several strings within the entire model, or perhaps the model itself, so I can view the strings that were used to construct it. I can revert back to the original model as well. Now, I can measure the data using a series of tools. I can cut sections of my data. So what this will allow me to do is have dynamic sections based on the extent of my data. And finally, within here, the tools, I can annotate my data. So perhaps there's an area of interest in this particular workflow that I'm demonstrating. And I want to come in and bring attention to perhaps what I think is an artifact. I can come in and annotate the data accordingly. so that I can publish it and share it with other stakeholders. Now, before I publish it, it is really important to note, I'm visualizing this data as an output from SERPAC. It's independent of SERPAC, so I don't need to know how to use SERPAC. I don't need to have a SERPAC license to view the data within the platform. It's very user-friendly. So if I'm prepared now to publish this data with various stakeholders, I'm going to publish it to what's called a community. So let's talk about this for a moment. Social collaboration through communities really allows you to share ideas, ask questions, and keep your team up to date by creating a digital post. These different communities are user-defined, so these could be based on best practices, company vision, health and safety, which really facilitates transparency and two-way communication between people, departments, and sites, helping to break those silos between the company's main assets, its people, and its data. So in this workflow, I want to be able to publish to my geology community. And within there, I'm going to ask them to look at this model. And I'm going to get them to review my section of interest. And I'm going to publish it. It's going to publish it live for various stakeholders to review. Once it's done publishing, we're going to navigate to it within the platform. So it's important to note with publishing our data and sharing it amongst other users, you're allowing them the ability to share and collaborate on it in real time. So I can see here now I've received a notification letting me know that my data has been published. So let's go ahead and view that content. I'm going to refresh the page with the most recent edition. And voila, here we have my published data. So again, let's take a step back and realize the steps to get to this point. We started in SERPAC, we updated our model, we saved it to a secure file storage using the SERPAC Power BI capabilities to save it to the 3D Experience platform. Once within the platform, we navigated to our data and we previewed it using the visualization tools. While visualizing our data, we annotated it and then published it in this digital community. So you can see on the centralized portion of the screen, my most recent post. This post is listed in my Humber Valley Geology community. These communities are user-defined. As you can see on the left-hand side, I have a list of different user-defined communities. On the centralized portion of the screen, I have a digital feed here. So I can scroll through, see what's been posted, who has done what work. But at the same time, as a participant and on the social collaboration front, I can come in and perhaps endorse a post. Naturally, I'm going to endorse my own. I'm going to come in and perhaps share my data. So I can share it with other users. I can share it by a specific link. Or you have the ability to share on social networks. Okay, to be added onto this list that's currently in production is LinkedIn capabilities. Now within here, I can come into my post and I can tag relevant stakeholders. So I can come in and tag perhaps my colleague who is going to come in and review the data that I've asked. So please work on this ASAP. And this user will now be logged into the platform and they have the ability to receive a notification denoted by this little icon along the top bar. Once they get that notification, they'll be able to navigate to the post itself and interact with me. Now, on that topic of social collaboration, we also have the ability to message people within the same ecosystem. So what this allows me to do is, being logged into the platform, I have the option to make audio calls, video calls, and chat as well with other stakeholders using this icon down here. And this really provides a more seamless experience, allows me to communicate with others in real time. So I have my colleague right now who's in a different country who's collaborating with me in this demo live. So again, as part of the workflow, I was assigned a task. So let's take a look at the associated workflow that was part of the bigger picture. So within the program itself, I have the ability to use workflow management tools. So I can see I have a variety of different I have a variety of different workflows that I can access. So here's one that I've been assigned. And you can see this particular workflow is quite long. I have various stakeholders that have the ability to approve, comment, or only be notified when a task has been completed. So as I propagate through the various tasks, it will lead me to the one that I'm currently on. So as a user now, I can come down to my interactive Kanban board here. So let me explain what that is. It's basically a dashboard which tracks the maturity status of different tasks on a per user basis. So using this application, you can manage workflows such as updating a resource model for multiple stakeholders. And currently within my to-do list, I have several options within here. So I can scroll down. Perhaps I would like to come to this activity right here, in which I have my updated geological model workflow, which pertains to this, I guess, graphical image that you see here of the workflow. I can come in and now mark this task from to do to done. So I'm going to simply mark it as complete. And as a user, you're forced to put in comments so I know what parameters were utilized. Okay, for the purposes of this demonstration, I'll put a simple comment and I'll save. You'll notice now the task will be propagating in the done category. Now, if I come up to this particular workflow and just refresh the recent changes, I'll be able to navigate to my workflow. And I'll go to the graphical component. And now you can see the updating of the geological model is complete. And it's now propagated to the next task. That task now resides in my to-do list. So this completes the cycle of the workflow that I was illustrating, starting off in SERPAC, updating my model. And that model I knew to update based on the notification that I received through email. Once I received that email, I knew I could come to this specific workflow, see what is done as a prerequisite to this file or to this task. But what's important in here as well is the ability to add various members with different permission settings, but adding content. I have the ability to add various pieces of content. So you see, I have my OR1 expanded model. This is what I started with at the beginning of my demonstration of this workflow. This file is connected to this workflow. So now I have connected data in which I can update, track any of the changes through the comments that are listed here, through the versioning that exists. I can roll back to previous versions, but I have the ability to audit my data, have the visibility to, govern my data. So once I was able to update my model within SERPAC using that notification, I used my SERPAC Power BI capabilities to connect to the Power BI. Power BI connected to the 3D Experience platform, in which I then navigated where my secure file storage was located. I found my file, I visualized it using our various tools. I was able to cut sections and be able to annotate my data. Once I've done that, I was able to publish it with various stakeholders and collaborate in real time. So this demonstration of this particular workflow really shows that there's many users and stakeholders affected by challenges with collaboration, as well as the associated time cost. So while their specific challenges depend on their objectives, many share the same issues, especially when they're in different departments or sites. So similar to the story we just reviewed or this workflow, ineffective communication makes it difficult to collaborate with colleagues, especially those in other departments. So to reduce the collaborative time costs and ineffective file management, you must establish a single source of truth. And to unlock that true value of collaboration, you need to work in one seamless environment, connecting people, data, and ideas. And that seamless environment is now available with Dassault Systems 3D Experience platform. So I'm going to navigate to my presentation slide deck and do one quick wrap-up slide before we turn over to questions. So the 3D Experience platform connects all project information and stakeholders across the extended enterprise with a zero-distance approach. This zero distance is a differentiator, successfully bringing innovation to meet clients' needs, zero distance to people, processes, and data. Some of the key benefits and differentiators can really be broken down into the categories that you see here. So what I like to call the 7 S's of success, because you, the user, get to define your definition of success. So let's go through them. First of all, it's smart. It has information intelligence for smarter decisions and business agility. And although we didn't really showcase a lot in the eastern quadrant of the compass, you'll be able to see live dashboards and actionable programs that allow you to improve decision making and reduce cycle times. Moving on to social. You have social collaboration between stakeholders across the entire enterprise using applications. It really makes collaboration more effective, fostering innovation. Okay, following social, we have speed. It eliminates reworking. You have the right data where and when you need it on the go. You can manage risks and achieve plans on time and on budget. It really combines invisible governance and analytics to gain real-time and insights to reduce project cycle times. Moving on to single view. You have an enterprise, so you have Power BI connectors like GEOVIA products to the platform, providing a single truthful source. So it helps to improve accuracy, quality, repeatability of data, which really propagates that invisible governance and traceability, which again invokes confidence in your deposit. Now, what about sustainable or sustainability? You can manage huge amounts of information, requirements, deliverables, comments, changes. The platform uses a data-driven approach to quickly respond to your needs and increase for business agility and sustainable growth. Examples would include identifying bottlenecks before or after they happen, but being able to recognize them instantaneously and knowing how to deal with them. What about being secure? It's hosted on the cloud, backed up by our Dassault data centers. It automatically backs up data. Okay, and if it's hosted on premise, you have the ability to work within the physical confines of the enterprise, as opposed to running remotely on hosted servers. And finally, streamlined. All products are seamlessly integrated. There's a single access or entry point to all the applications. Really being able to harness the DS or Dassault portfolio and use sister brand technology for the mining space to be at the cutting edge of innovation. So that wraps up what I was going to cover in terms of the live demonstration. And we'll start with the question and answer section of the webinar, and we'll take questions from the audience. Okay, so taking a look at the questions, the first one, what GEOVIA products does the 3D Experience connect to using Power BI application? Okay, that's a great question. So currently, SIRPAC allows users to connect to the 3D Experience from your GEOVIA desktop applications. And to review, the GEOVIA Power BI really allows you to access and leverage the full range of capabilities of the platform, including things like sharing data, mining workflow collaborations, playing 3D content, and the ability to create platform-based dashboards to consolidate tasks and data. In terms of the other products, we're planning to extend PowerBuy to other GeoVia products in the near future, targeting Mineshed and Whittle. Okay, we'll take a look at the next question here. Okay, out of the content that was demonstrated, what is currently available today? So we have several tiers of roles within the platform that we're currently offering. And within today's demonstration, we had featured both a business innovation and an industry innovation role. So to give you more context about those roles, your journey to the 3D Experience platform starts with business innovation. This is where your social collaboration applications are made available as part of any base installation of the 3D Experience platform. So any user in the organization can use business innovation to share or store, collaborate, and communicate really with others across the organization and start to establish a single source of truth. Whereas the next stage in the digital transformation is more of the industry innovation role. And here we start to really digitalize the mining data currently tied up in desktop applications. And the idea is to provide structured, secure, and version-controlled data that is given access to different collaborative teams by connecting desktop applications such as GEOVIA SURPAC in this example. There are many other roles that are available. I only demonstrated 2 of them today. So if you have more information on those additional roles, or you'd like more information on those additional roles and how they can leverage your operations, please feel free to contact me. My details will be listed at the end of the webinar. Okay, and let's see the next question here. Okay, so this is, I got a couple on this one. There seems to be a number of price inquiries, which I'll just summarize. They're subject really to the following. The implementation type, would you be interested in a cloud or on-premise solution? In terms of the applications that you see, are you looking for something that's out of the box? Or are you looking for more of a customized request based on the current operational setup at your site? And it also depends on items like number of various roles and the associated users. Configuration of applications based on requirements. So perhaps you have specific workflows you'd like created, or communities, secure file storage is set up, and items like data migration. So really each quote is unique to the 3D experience you wish to deploy. So if you're interested in, again, a follow-up discussion to initiate custom scoping or more in-depth demonstrations, please don't hesitate to contact. And again, we'll see my details at the end of the webinar. Okay, and there's one other question that I'll take before passing it over to Juliana. You mentioned dashboarding. Can you show an example? Okay, so no problem, sure. Given the time constraints for the webinar, I was focused on a specific use case, but now that we've talked about some of the components of the platform by way of application, I can take a step back and look at the basis of the integration of those applications. So let's take a look at a dashboard tab that's already set up here. Okay, so first of all, to explain, to access and create a dashboard, we have this interactive navigational menu. So if I just quickly choose one of these quadrants, and this is where I centered my demonstration around the social and collaborative aspects, I'm able to see a variety of roles. Those roles basically unlock associated applications and widgets. Those applications can then be dragged and dropped to create your dashboard. So you can see here, I have basically what I would refer to as a landing page or your daily entry points into your work, where you could listen, track, and really govern your data flawlessly. The dashboard itself manages projects effectively, as we've seen with the workflows, makes it easier for reporting, and a single source of truth with the secure file storages that we investigated. So in this particular example, you can see a variety of visualization applications that show my company logo, marketing material, company vision. I have my digital community. I can also read into third-party links. In this case, I'm reading a link in which I can view my data interactively to maybe simulate property boundaries of my operation. And I also have the ability to store notes where I can go ahead and apply this to the entire enterprise, whether it be health and safety related, it could be based on site orientation. So just little memos that you want to address without sending out an email, so it's available to all stakeholders. So on an advanced level, I can also design dashboard intelligence, in which I can get users the complete picture around any subject through data mining news, or analyze data to make decisions rapidly based on the most up-to-date data at the mine site. So really collaborating, sharing knowledge, and driving data. So if you have any questions about dashboarding and any additional things that could be possible in the 3D Experience platform, please reach out to me.